this is Beth Terminella, and I am with 110 Realty Group. I have an office here in Crystal Beach, Texas, and we are doing these new little video vlogs with short-term rental management company, Bolivar Vacations, and Julie is new to Bolivar Vacations. Well, you've been there for a while, but you guys have taken on a new role, and you are doing what I call the fun part, the design, which, look, this background's all fake, and my house, the walls were white. So, so Julie, why don't you tell them a little bit about your background and what you do at Bolivar?
Yeah. So in Bolivar, I own Bolivar Vacations with my husband, but I also have my own company, Kindred Design Co. We are a short-term rental design firm that isn't specific to Bolivar, but all over the United States. However, most of my clients right now are in Bolivar just due to it being the slow season. So a lot of clients are coming in wanting to update their amenities and kind of reinvest in their properties. I'm a professional designer by trade, so that is my background. And I fell in love with the short-term rental industry when my husband and I guess we stumbled upon it back in like 2020-ish, but just fell in love with this industry and we decided to dive in head first.
So were you always a designer or, okay.
Yeah, I was mainly in commercial design, and then had children and ended up being a stay-at-home mom for a little bit, and then jumped back into it once my kids were a little bit older.
Well, isn't it exciting that the short-term rental arena has kind of created this whole design niche for you? So.
Oh, yeah. And it's a specific niche that I find a lot of designer friends that I have from college and everything, they are really interested and intrigued in it. So I'm really excited to be here, and it's become my bread and butter for sure.
Good for you. Well, I'm so glad that you are a part of Bolivar Vacations. I love to see the energy that you guys bring, and it's exciting to see what you've done in my houses. So
yeah.
I'm so glad we could do this show. So I'm going to kind of dig right in and talk about. Okay, so when we decided to do this, I said, I want to know for 2025, what do you see as some of those design trends going in? So,
yeah, and so it's hard to pinpoint design trends, so to speak. But what I see in this industry, especially in Bolivar, because as you know, you've been in Bolivar for quite a while, and you know that it isn't the same market, right? That it was.
No, I mean, I'll say this, Julie. I've been coming to Bolivar since I was 18, and the Airbnb market was probably created here. It's been a mom and pop type Airbnb market for a long time. So there, it's changed. You guys have changed it.
It's 100% changed, and the guest expectation has changed. So the biggest trend that I'm seeing is the investors in Bolivar need to be guest centric. So you can't just throw some furniture in it and be successful anymore. You have to really focus on the guest and their experience, because they're expecting more. They're expecting, so pretty much my 5 trends that I have, and I can briefly go over them and we can dive into it more. This experience, 100%. People aren't looking for, they're looking for more of a place and an experience, and not just somewhere to put their boots down and lay down and sleep kind of thing. It's not that anymore. Uniqueness, they're needing something unique. They don't want to have the experience that they have at their house. They want something a little bit fun, a little bit different. Family friendly, pet friendly. Everyone's traveling with their pets after COVID pretty much. Let's see, Instagram worthy. People like to brag where they're going.
Gosh. Oh, wow.
And wellness. So just like they're wanting more of a relaxing environment now, not so much of like a massive party. Just something that they can relax with their family, things like that. So those are the like my 5 guest centric trends that are pushing the trends of the market.
Okay. So if you were to take one of those topics and give me one point on those and tell everybody what those would look like in your mind.
Yes. So let's say I like to paint a picture, and there's so much that we could talk about truly, because so your house, it seats 18, I believe?
Yes, I think so.
Somewhere around there. So 18. That house is going to be significantly different than someone that has a 6 occupancy, right?
I have a 6 occupancy. Oh, I have an 8 occupancy.
Yeah, so very different. So you're thinking one is more two families. So you want to have a space where 2 families can get together and enjoy themselves, but also they can go off separately. And then you have one that's 6, where it's probably a mom and dad with their kids, and they want to be able to see their kids and enjoy the space and have everything kind of separate. So having the experience is a big thing, because it's mom and dad's pretty much who want to have a drink and enjoy themselves, but they want their kids to be separate. They want their kids to enjoy. So adding those extra amenities into spaces is super important lately.
Okay. And you did that in my house, and I never even thought about that now there are 2 definite places where families could enjoy. So that was great.
Yeah. Just having that different mindset of it. So the previous Bolivar was heads and beds, right? So we want as many people as we can in this house. That'll get you booked. Now it's not happening that way. Lower occupancy within a house is better. So say 10 people, 12 people instead of the 22 that we were originally trying to fit, but with an added amenity. So a foosball table, a ping pong table, pool table, anything like that, where if it's a rainy day, you can still enjoy yourself at the house.
So one of the things I always say to people when they're purchasing houses is in the community. The first day the family goes out on that beach and they get burned because they're not used to this, especially if they're from the north. And then what do you do the next day? Because Bolivar is very rural still, I say, and there's not those amenities that you see in other areas. So poor mom is there in the house trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do with these kids?
Exactly. Oh, I've been there as a mom, and it's extremely difficult whenever you have sunburnt babies. They're crying, they're cranky, they want to go outside. Or even going into the winter months right now, it's the slow season and you can't be out on the beach. That wind is brutal. Having a hot tub, like you guys put in a hot tub, which I think was such a wise decision, that kind of winter proofs you. You're not going to have crazy, huge incomes and waves of anything, but it helps you beat the neighbor next door.
That's true. That's true. Okay, and what was your second point?
So uniqueness.
Oh, yeah.
So standing out from the crowd, driving down that main road, every house is identical, right? So you see everyone on stilts, you see all the bright colors, beautiful. And so think about it as a guest scrolling through Airbnb, they see the exact same thing. But what makes your property stand out with the neighbor next door? What makes them want to stop scrolling? So yours is your nautical theme. So that's stands out a little bit different, the red, white, and blue. It stands out different than your neighbor next door. So making sure that we set you or someone else a little bit apart from your neighbors is how we're going to stop that scroll, and people are going to actually click on your photo, because once they click on that photo, done deal. It's keeping them to click on that is the biggest deal.
And then you said Instagram worthy. And I've always thought that is true, because my business lives on social media a lot because of real estate, and I think y'all should too. But as far as going on vacation, sometimes I don't like people know where I'm at, but I could see where a lot of people would. So I know at my house we did the neon sign, which I love. What else are you seeing for Instagram?
Murals anywhere that you can take a picture of, thinking even hammocks. I love to use murals with your name of your property. So Sandy Cheeks, Bolivar Peninsula, like that would be the perfect spot. So free marketing for you, free marketing for Bolivar Vacations, free marketing for Bolivar Peninsula. All of that stuff, like just that one photo and then get tagged on it is just icing on the cake, in my opinion.
Right.
So neon signs, murals, wallpaper. I've been adding some wallpaper at certain properties. Those have been really awesome. Just anything that's you wouldn't necessarily have at home that you would want to take a picture in.
Okay. Interesting. And then pet friendly, and I totally love this. I think that's so important because it's a part of your family.
Yes.
I know.
Yes, exactly.
Pets, we are talking dogs, right?
Yeah, so we've actually, and this might be my husband's conversation, but we've had someone ask to bring their spider monkey before, and we were like, no, thank you. I would love to be able to offer that, but I just don't know what that is even capable of. So dogs and cats, we try to not recommend cats just because of kitty litter and all those things, but dogs for sure. And then if you have a new homeowner, recommending fences for them, that's always a bonus because people love to have fences for their dogs, and they will pick certain properties for those, and that's a more cheap way of getting bookings.
Yeah, no, I think it's important, and I love that. And then wellness, and that really, I think that speaks to the homeowner as well as the guest, because people don't want those big parties in their houses. They want that relaxing atmosphere. 100%. So how do you create that atmosphere?
Yeah, it's the trend also. So previous Bolivar was more of a kitschy beach. So like your typical beach house, you know, you have your tiki, you have your, let's say, I'm blanking off the top of my head, but tiki, you know, it's pretty kitschy. And now we're leaning more towards, you know, serenity, blues, and calming environments, stuff that's also from a owner's perspective, easier to maintain, easier to clean, easier to replace, things like that. I am always making sure that my clients are not having to redesign in a year because everything broke.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's going to stay there for a while. But I foresee, you know, saunas or even ice baths popping up in.
That seems very trendy to me.
I know. I think that is something that could potentially move here, because we are, you know, adding pickleball courts and things like that to properties down here. So I think eventually it'll get there.
You know, we have a pickleball group here now.
That's awesome. I did not know that.
I think it's on Monday. So if you guys need to know that. So you talked about sustainability, and that is going to be on one of our other shows. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say about that. Because to me, there are always those certain brands that you can recommend that will last longer. But we're not going to go into that right now.
Yeah. I was like, I can talk for hours with you.
Yeah, I'm sure. One of the other questions I have is, you know, themes. Of course, we're at the beach. And I picked a different, I felt like my theme was more patriotic than nautical. But what do you think are good themes if you're a new homeowner and let's say you just bought a house, and I know I just referred some clients to you guys who just did. And what would you suggest that they do when they go in and start furnishing a house? Because if you're me, you have white walls.
Yeah. First thing I would do is hire me.
There you go.
We must talk. No. So I would definitely be adding some color in if the white is there. I think it's necessary. It depends if you're going more luxury or if you're trying to stay more mainstream. You know, if you want the higher price point, are you willing to spend extra money for wallpaper and maybe some extra murals? So there's a lot of different factors, but the biggest thing I would say is adding color, making sure that there's some Instagrammable moments for them, and then really having a floor plan dedicated for families. So making sure that your furniture is comfortable, it's able to be durable, like we were talking about, and things like that. But I think, and I'm always willing to jump on a call with people too, you know, for consultations and just kind of troubleshoot with them. But I think that's the biggest thing, is to start with those. And also my other tip that I just thought of was make sure you do it all at once, because a lot of people are like, oh, I'll do it next season, I'll do it then. But then you have new pictures, you have to go through that. I would just bite the bullet to do everything that you want to in the beginning, and then you'll be set to go after that.
That's a good point, because we did redo Sandy Cheeks because I had the white walls. I was in a house the other day, and like they had one of the green walls with the greenery. And they had a swing inside the house. They built it in. I know, it was great. I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a cool
moment. Perfect.
Yeah. So, and I don't know this answer, so I'm going to ask you something. I know you're with Bolivar Vacations, but like I have clients that maybe need design service who aren't using Bolivar Vacation. Maybe they're just going to use it for their own personal use. Do you do that outside of Bolivar?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like 90% of my clients are outside of Bolivar Vacations.
Okay.
I just try to help out here and there because my husband is mainly in Bolivar, but I do properties all over. Even if someone has a property in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or California, I'm all over the place and can work with you.
Okay, and do you do that virtually or do you go on site?
It depends. So I like to do things virtually. It just makes the process a lot faster. So what I typically do is I have someone go out like to your house. I would get measurements, and then I would build everything in a model, and then we would meet virtually. Sometimes I do drive down to Bolivar. I drive down at least every month and can meet with people and install. But it just depends on what the client's wanting and what my schedule looks like as well. Okay.
Neat. And okay, I know you guys have done a lot in Pittsburgh, and I'm going to ask this question off the wall. Do you have short-term rentals up there, and do you see that your houses, which does better as far as Billy paid this, but I didn't.
No, it's no problem. We do have properties in Pittsburgh. We have 9 short-term rentals in Pittsburgh, and then we have about 30 long-term rentals there. So that's where we originally started, and we lived there. We also have a boutique hotel in Arkansas that's about 18 units. So we literally just live in this world constantly. But our properties in Bolivar definitely do better.
That's good to hear.
They are seasonal. So it's, like that huge hit in the middle of the summer. And then it kind of tapers off and then comes back and hits. Whereas Pittsburgh is a little bit more streamlined with it. Sometimes it goes up and down, but you have the Steelers, you have the Penguins, the Pirates, hospitals.
Yeah, that's true. You got all that going for you.
It's kind of more of a constant, but definitely Bolivar is doing better for us personally.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Hopefully we'll see some economy improvements coming in. I'm going to ask you this question. I asked Felipe this because I like to listen to a lot of YouTube videos. I have podcasts. I listen to podcasts like crazy because when I go to work out, that's what I listen to. I have to have somebody talking to me.
Right.
I listen to Ed Milet a lot. I don't know if you know who that is, but he just kind of grounds me. A client of mine turned me on to him recently. Is there anybody in particular that you listen to that is your like mentor or go-to on
my husband?
Oh, I love that. Oh.
No, honestly, that man can lead me off the cliff and I would follow him. So
I believe it.
Yeah.
That's
he definitely
so busy.
Yes, and he really is the one who soaks up all the information and truthfully, like, he can do no wrong with things that are moving forward, because the fact that we have something breaks or falls in our business per se, it's always like we just keep going kind of thing. But I focus mainly on a lot of the short-term rental designers and just making sure that I'm staying on top of trends, things like that. And then I obviously read books that are more habitual, that are trying to get you to where you're supposed to be going type thing.
That's good. Okay, so who do you read? Who motivates you there?
Oh,
okay,
I was about to say I need to pull up my list.
Well, hey, I just wanted to thank you for joining me. And Julie, we're going to try to do this every month. And if people wanted to reach out to you directly to talk to you about your design service or what Bolivar Vacations offers, how can they reach you?
Yeah, so my Instagram handle is Julie Caldiera Designer, or you can go to my website, kindreddesign.co.
Okay, great. Thank you for joining us, and we're going to
Thanks for
sign
having me.
off. Bye.
Bye.